I took the job as a park ranger in the high deserts of New Mexico to get away from people, from noise, from the mess I'd made of my life. My station was miles from town, tucked between dusty mesas and wind-swept juniper groves. Peaceful, mostly, until the night I heard the voice. It was nearly midnight. The radios were quiet. The wind had died. I was on my last patrol when I heard someone calling from the trees. "Help, please." I followed the voice with my flashlight, heart thudding. A woman, maybe. It sounded weak, scared. "Where are you?" I called. "Over here," came the voice again, softer now. Too soft. But there was no one. I found tracks, barefoot, human. They led into the dark, twisting through junipers, then suddenly stopped. Like someone had vanished mid-step. That's when I noticed the smell. Wet earth and rot. And then, the silence. No crickets, no wind, just a heavy stillness. I turned back, but something moved behind me. A tall figure stood at the edge of the trees. Human-shaped, but wrong. Joints bending the wrong way. Skin stretched tight over bone. Its face was a blur, shifting, like it was trying to remember how to be human. It opened its mouth, and my voice came out. "Help, please." I ran. Back at the station, I locked the doors and didn't sleep. In the morning, the tracks were gone. No sign of anything. Locals say it was a Yinaldlushi, a skinwalker. A witch that wears stolen skin, mimics voices, and hunts in silence. They say it can't come in unless you invite it. But last night, just before bed, I heard my mother's voice outside my window. She died 4 years ago. She whispered, "Honey, let me in." And my hand was already reaching for the latch. I didn't sleep that night. Even as the sun rose over the rust-colored cliffs, painting the desert gold, I stayed inside, gripping the shotgun we kept for mountain lions. I kept telling myself it was just stress, isolation, maybe a prank. But that voice, my voice, echoing from something that wasn't me, I couldn't explain that. I reported it to headquarters, but they laughed it off. "Coyotes mimic sounds sometimes," one guy said. "You probably heard an echo." But I've heard coyotes, and they don't speak in perfect English. They don't sound exactly like me. I started researching on my off hours, old legends, local stories. That's when I found the term skinwalker, a Navajo legend, but not something they talk about lightly. A witch who gains power through dark rituals, able to take the shape of animals or wear human skin. I learned they mimic voices to lure people into the wild, isolate them, confuse them, break them. The next night, the voice came back. But it wasn't just mine this time. I heard Sarah, my ex, crying, begging. "Please, you don't understand. I'm lost." She used to say that when her depression was bad. No one else would know that. I nearly opened the door again, but I didn't. I started hanging protective charms, cedar ash, salt lines. I don't even know if those work, but they made me feel less helpless. I stopped patrolling at night. I kept the lights on. 3 nights later, I heard scratching on the roof. Then something heavy landed on the porch. It paced back and forth for hours. Hooves, then hands, then something that sounded like claws. And every few minutes, it would press its face to the window, if you could call it a face. It changed each time. Sometimes my father, who died of a stroke last year. Sometimes a girl I barely remember from school. It knows things it shouldn't. Intimate things. Painful things. It whispered through the crack in the door, "Why didn't you save me?" I finally radioed for help. The signal went through, but all I got back was static. Then my voice coming back over the radio repeating, "I'm already inside." That was 3 days ago. I haven't left. I haven't slept. And just now, the radio crackled again. This time, it's me talking to headquarters. My voice is calm, confident. "Yeah, all good here," it says. "No issues. I'll check back in tomorrow." It's trying to replace me. And the worst part? There's a second shadow behind me now. But I'm alone in the room. I turned slowly toward the second shadow. There was no figure, just the shape of one, long and thin, stretching against the floor even though nothing stood there. And then, the air turned cold. So cold my breath came out in clouds, even in the desert heat. It whispered in my ear, but my ears didn't hear it. My bones did. Words I didn't know, but somehow understood. Give up the skin. I backed into the corner, shotgun trembling in my hands, but I knew it wouldn't help. You can't kill something that never died. I had one idea left. I lit the cedar ash, poured salt across the door, and recited the only Navajo words I found that might hold it back. Ye iwichi ta aji. Evil spirit, stay back. The shadow hissed, retreating, slowly, unwillingly, and the cold lifted. My name's Daniel Mason. I've been a park ranger in Glacier Ridge National Forest for 11 years. Spent most of it patrolling trails, rescuing lost hikers, clearing fallen trees, normal ranger stuff. But this last assignment? It's the kind of thing that doesn't go in the reports. 3 weeks ago, I got sent to a decommissioned ranger station deep in the north sector. No road access, only reachable by ATV or a full day's hike. My job was to do a condition check, see if the old lookout tower and supply cabins were salvageable for the upcoming fire season. No big deal. I'd done this before. I loaded up my gear, radioed in, and headed out. It was a bright, clear morning. The air smelled like pine and old snow melt. For the first 2 days, everything was fine. Peaceful, even. Then came the third night. It started with the silence. Out here, the forest is never quiet. Even at night, there's the rustle of animals, wind through the needles, owls, insects. But around midnight, everything went dead. No wind, no night calls, just stillness. Then came the knocking. It was soft, deliberate. At the base of the lookout tower. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 more. I turned on my lantern and leaned out over the railing, shining my light down. Nothing. Just trees and fog rolling in. I figured it was an animal. Maybe a bear rubbing against the support beams. But the next night, it happened again. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 more. And this time, it was followed by a voice. "Ranger," it rasped. "You forgot to check the basement." There's no basement in the tower. I didn't sleep that night. I locked the trapdoor to the upper cabin and sat with my rifle in my lap. No one else was supposed to be out here. No other rangers, no campers, just me and whatever was pretending to be human. The voice came again at 2:13 a.m. "Ranger, let me in. It's cold." It sounded like my supervisor, Greg. Same inflection, same slow drawl. But Greg died in a boating accident 2 years ago. I was at his funeral. I didn't respond, didn't move. The voice stayed outside for almost an hour before fading into the trees. When the sun rose, I found tracks. Barefoot. Human. Circling the tower but never leading away. I tried to radio headquarters. Static. I tried hiking out. After half a mile, I found myself back at the tower. Like I'd walked in a circle, but my compass never changed direction. Something was keeping me here. The 4th night was worse. I heard something climbing the supports. The steel creaked under the weight. Too heavy for a person. It circled the tower twice before stopping just beneath the floorboards. Then the boards bowed upward, as if something underneath was trying to push through. I fired 3 rounds into the floor. Silence. Then laughter. Low, gravelly, and not quite human. It echoed up from under the cabin and then faded like smoke. I stayed awake till dawn. That morning, the sun didn't rise. I mean, it did. Technically. But the light was gray and washed out. The forest looked fake. Like a stage set. Shadows didn't move right. I couldn't hear birds. I packed my gear, climbed down, and started walking again. Didn't care where, just away. But every path bent back toward the tower, no matter how far I went. On the 7th day, the tower was different, taller. The steps stretched higher into the fog, and the cabin at the top looked new, clean, unused. like no one had ever been inside. The door was open. I climbed it. I don't know why. Maybe I was tired. Maybe it was something else, pulling me, daring me. Inside was a table with 3 items. A lantern, lit but with no fuel. A black notebook. A cracked mirror. I opened the notebook. One phrase repeated over and over. Do not look outside during the quiet hours. I looked at the mirror. It showed the forest, but not me. Just the tower, surrounded by shadows. Dozens of them. Crawling, shifting, standing at the edge of the trees, staring up. I dropped the mirror. It didn't shatter. Just melted. Then I heard it again, behind me. Ranger. It was my own voice. I turned, and there I was. Or something that looked like me. Same uniform, same face. But wrong. Its eyes were empty, hollow. Its mouth didn't move when it spoke. Time to change shifts. It lunged. I ran. I don't remember getting back down the steps. I don't remember the hike. But I woke up 3 miles from the southern station, face down in the mud, dehydrated, covered in blood that wasn't mine. They found me and took me to the hospital. I didn't say much, just claimed I got lost. Heat stroke, delirium, but I know what I saw. They tried to send a team back to that sector. The trail was gone. The tower isn't on any map anymore. They think I lost it. PTSD, they say. But some nights, just before sleep, I hear knocking at my window, always followed by a whisper. Time to change shifts. And last night, my radio turned on. No static, just my voice saying, I'm already inside. They don't send new guys to North Point. You have to earn it. 3 miles off trail, up past Devil's Spine Ridge, you'll find mile marker 18, a rusted metal signpost driven deep into stone. Beyond that, nothing. Just a narrow trail that disappears into fog, no trail markers, no coverage, no exit. I was stationed there for 7 nights. It was meant to be routine. Check the old Firewatch tower, verify wildlife activity, replace some cameras. I signed the papers, took the keys, and hiked in. The air changed when I passed mile marker 18. Not colder, just still. Thick, like sound didn't carry right. My breathing sounded wrong in my own ears. The tower itself was old but intact. 60 feet high, creaky wooden frame with a single lantern and a cot. No power, no radio signal. The nearest contact point was a trailhead hour south. I kept a journal. Thought I'd need it for reports. The first 2 days were quiet. A few elk wandered nearby. Coyotes howled at night, but nothing strange. Then came day 3. I found a note nailed to the inside of the tower door. Yellowed, old, written in shaky block letters, "Don't look at the trees after dark." I thought it was a joke left by a bored ranger. Still, I followed it. That night, I kept my eyes on the sky, but I heard things, branches cracking, soft thumps like something heavy moving between the trunks. Once I swear I heard breathing right beneath the tower, deep, rhythmic. Day 4, I found a set of muddy footprints circling the base of the tower. Bare feet. Human. But no trail leading in or out. I set up a trail cam. Day 5, the camera was gone. Just the strap left hanging from a branch. That night, I broke. I looked. I saw them. The trees weren't trees anymore. There were shapes between them, tall, still, too symmetrical, like silhouettes cut from bark. I counted 5. They didn't move, but I could feel their heads turn as I watched, like the dark itself was watching me back. I shut the window, locked the hatch. Didn't sleep. Day 6, I packed to leave early. Didn't care about the report, didn't care about protocol. The forest didn't feel empty anymore. It felt occupied. But when I started down the trail, something had changed. Mile marker 18 was gone. So was the trail. I circled for hours trying to find any landmark. The ridge, the riverbed. Nothing looked right. The woods folded in on themselves like a maze that didn't want me to leave. Worse, the forest had grown quiet. Too quiet. I made camp near a clearing. That night, I heard whispering. Not words, just movement, rustling breath, circling the tent. I held my knife and didn't breathe. When I opened the tent at dawn, there were handprints all over the fabric, hundreds of them, long fingers, palm too wide, no footprints, just the marks. I ran. I didn't know where, just away. Sometime around midday, I found it again. The tower, back in the same place as if it had never moved. But something was off. The wood looked new. The nameplate on the door was different. It read, Ranger C. Mitchell, duty start May 1st. That's my name. That's my handwriting. But it was April 28th. I unlocked the door with my key. Inside, everything was exactly as I'd left it, except the journal on the table. The pages were filled, front to back, my writing, but I hadn't written them. The final entry read, I should have stayed inside. I should have listened to the sign. They wear the woods like a coat. They mimic what they eat. I saw myself walking away from the tower today. It smiled at me. Then came a postscript. Leave now, and it takes your voice. Stay, and it takes your skin. I don't know how I got back. I blacked out. Woke up on the ranger station steps 3 days later, dehydrated, shaking. They say I wandered back barefoot, eyes open, not speaking. They say I haven't been the same since. I still patrol. They won't reassign me. I don't ask anymore. But sometimes I'll see movement near the edge of the trees, and once during my night shift, I passed mile marker 18 on patrol. The sign was back, freshly painted. Underneath it, in black marker, someone had scrawled, Welcome back, Ranger Mitchell. And just beyond it, in the tree line, I saw someone waving at me. Same uniform, same building, same face. And when I blinked, there were 5 of them, each one smiling too wide, each one waving in perfect unison. One stepped forward and mouthed a word I couldn't hear, but I knew what it was. Stay.